Good morning, it's January 22nd, 2010, and here's your update. The euro is suffering now. The euro is dropping against the dollar. It's now down to $1.41 for 1 euro. Remember when it was 87 cents for a euro, so it really hasn't dropped that far. The problem seems to be that the weak countries who are involved, who use the euro, which are Greece, Portugal, Spain, and Ireland, are, in ways that I don't understand, dragging the euro down in the world market. People saying they don't want to have so many euros now. It's not as safe as it used to be. And the dollar is supposed, I don't know, what's safe? What's safe? The real. Is that the Brazilian real? Is that what it is? Anyway, so listen, Greece, Portugal, Spain, and Ireland, get your act together. Get your act together. That's my official word. Thank you.
This next Wednesday, the 27th, will be my last day at the Metropolitan Room. Had a wonderful little run there with a lot of good players. Got a nice review in the New York Times. And can't complain about that. In the news today, Wall Street Journal, while politically I just abhor their stance, nonetheless their news is good. And I see that John Edwards has finally acknowledged that he did have a child with, what's her name? No, he doesn't. It doesn't say here. But the woman who was the photographer with him on the campaign trail last year. Now, there's a great article in the New Yorker. No, it wasn't the New Yorker. It was some slightly more scandal-prone magazine describing his relationships with the photographer who went with him. And he denied it all. And it turns out that we were lucky that he didn't become the president, because
there's a new book called The Great Money Binge, Spending Our Way to Socialism by George Malone, M-E-L-L-O-A-N, who was a writer for the Wall Street Journal. My quick reading of the review says that he's blaming the government and Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae, those two companies that were backing up all the mortgages to everybody, as being the real cause of the problem. Well, could be. And those two companies certainly backed all those mortgages, just dumped money back to the people who bought the mortgages from the people who issued them, and encouraged everybody to keep issuing mortgages. And if the government hadn't started those two companies, I don't know what the deal would be. Who knows what the deal would be? But they certainly did contribute to the mess, because then all those lousy mortgages fell apart. So many of them did. And then whatever the process was, that suddenly all those mortgage investment trusts, whatever they were falling apart. They weren't good. And so credit started to fall. Now maybe it was the fault entirely of Fannie Mae and Fannie Mac.
Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac.
Because, boy, they had a lot of mortgages. But, I don't know. And part of me doesn't like the government interfering, getting involved in our economy. But then, because the government is so bureaucratic and slow to move and slow to initiate and innovate. The government is entirely it's impossible for them to innovate, because they've got too much bureaucracy going. So it takes Steve Jobs to do that stuff, because they can do it. And when the government get into the mortgage business, that did create a problem. And then the Wall Street people just jumped on it like crazy. I mean, they knew they saw billions of dollars. They couldn't resist it. They took it. I always thought that you should just let it fail. Let everybody fail. I really did. I didn't think we should save the banking system, because I thought we'd quickly come up with another one. If we let the old one fail, just let everybody go out of business and let them start up again. Who knows?
New bank rules sinks stocks. Obama proposal would restrict risk-taking by biggest firms as battle looms. Well, and everybody, the bankers don't want that to happen. They want to be able to free to take your money and my money and gamble it like crazy and collect those big commissions. And they don't really care if it disappears, because we'll back them up. We did this time, we will again. So the idea is that these guys take our money and then they put it into very risky investments, collect huge commissions on it, and if it goes bad, it goes bad. So what? They've got their money, and we're putting our money into their hands. And the Obama administration is saying, maybe we've got to change that. I sort of think we should, because no good's coming from it. One would say, well, it's fluidizing the money market. Yeah, not really. I mean, it makes credit, increases credit for a while until it explodes, and then it falls apart, and then the American taxpayer pays for it again. So I think we just got to stop that whole process. But the bankers are not going to let it happen easily. I think the bankers have a stranglehold on things right now, and those billions of dollars in bonuses being handed out, that's a strong incentive to keep things like they are. That's just my opinion. I think bonuses should go to bass players. Big bass player bonuses for playing in tune, for showing up on time, $1.5 million, $2 million a year bonuses. That's good. I'm for that. Okay.
I'm reading in the Wall Street Journal about Conan O'Brien and his $45 million promise to be nice to NBC. What a messy situation. Now, if Conan were brave, he would give the money that his employees got. He would give it to them and then forfeit his by saying whatever it was he wanted about NBC and saying, that's how we'd get publicity. That's how we'd show courage for the future. Just turning down his $34 million and saying, no, it's not worth it to me. I mean, Conan's got to have a lot of money already. So why not just do the smartest thing and just turn down his part of it and say whatever he wants about NBC, be free to say whatever he feels like it, raise the ratings, roof it wherever he goes next. But that money is going to stop him. He's going to take that money. Would I take that? Well, would I take the money? Well, he's got to. He's been on television for 10 years, 12 years, 15 years. If he's not set already, it's ridiculous. So if he really wants to do the brave thing, Conan, turn down your part of the money and talk about NBC any way you want. That's my suggestion. Maybe you'll do it. Good publicity. And besides, you'll have much more fun. Okay.
Big football games this weekend. Colts versus the Jets. Vikings versus the New Orleans Saints. Who's going to win? Well, I want the Jets to win something fierce. And if they do, boy, will I be amazed. I don't think the Colts can lose. I don't think they can possibly lose. I think Peyton Manning will just pick the Jets apart. Do I want the Jets to win? I surely do. I want them to go all the way. Do I think they can do it? I don't see how. But please prove me wrong, Jets. Please prove me wrong. As far as Minnesota and New Orleans Saints are concerned, well, now, I don't think that Brett Favre is going to have his best game. I think it'd be the Saints will win it. Saints versus Colts. Colts, world champion. My gracious, what a good team. That's what I see. Peyton Manning is just too good.
And there was an awful picture in the New York Post of Tiger Woods walking around in a sex addiction clinic. I'm sure he's having a great time there. I mean, why? Who's going to believe him? And then there's a picture of him moping around this sex addiction clinic. Poor guy. Oh, Tiger, just come out. Jump out, play golf, talk about it. Apologize to your wife. Tell her you're sorry, period. Oh, Tiger, what a mess. I hope your $1 billion is still good, though.